This is my water collection device. It's basically glorified rain barrels. But on top, I've got a modified downspout that dumps the water right into this bucket. You can see it's got about half full of water. Basically, it's a settlement tank. And then just off the back, you can see where the 1.5-inch PVC pipe comes out of it. And so any sediment is trapped first in the screen, and then second, hopefully, settles out in that tank before going into the main tanks here. Each of these holds about 55 gallons. And they're connected to an 1.5-inch pipe by a series of T-junctions hooked up with garden hose and hose clamps there. You can see the emergency drainage valve. I can flush out a lot of any sediment that does stay in there. I just have to open up that cap and it'll all get flushed out real quick. Anyway, this 1.5-inch pipe goes down here to this junction where I've got just a big ball joint, or not a ball joint, a ball valve. If I open it up, you can hear it go there. About 20 gallons a minute will flow through this pipe into my roundabout direction here, into these different, again, T-joints where the water flows out through garden hoses and into some rigid pipes. You can see the water coming out there. And I drilled, some of them have, I think they're like, what are they? They're less than an 1/8 inch. No, they're 1/8 inch. Drilled holes every 3 inches or 4 inches, depending on the different type of plant and how much water it needs. You can see there my okra and beets, carrots, tomatoes and spinach, some sort of gourd here, kale, peppers, cucumbers, broccoli, garlic that's knocked over, potatoes. And you can see here, basically the whole garden is hooked up on this one system. Obviously more tomatoes and corn back there. And on this side I've got strawberries. And then up top here I've got gourds. I'll get you a shot of that in a second. And so about, 5 minutes of that once a day is plenty. And if I run out of this 220 gallons of water here, one of these tanks can be emptied in about 2 minutes at that rate, a little over. I can open up this valve here and then turn on my water from my house, and then I can fill up these tanks to, I guess it would take about half an hour to fill them up completely, but if I want to water the garden fully, I use about 15 minutes of municipal water up into these tanks, because that'll build up extra pressure. I guess not pressure, but flow. And then I'll open the main valve, and then it'll all disperse in a couple of minutes. If I just use the city water, it doesn't have enough gallons per minute to get the whole system going. But you can see here, I guess you can't see here, but I'll show you. My pipe that is with my tomatoes and my basil, I did specifically drilled, pull up the screen. I did every 18 inches I did 4 quick holes, and then I used those to space out my plants. So every 18 inches there's 4 holes, and then when I planted everything I used that as a guide so that they would be specifically watered. And then up here, this is kind of a funny looking cable mechanism that we noticed at the Missouri Botanical Gardens. Basically it's a canopy of squash, and they'll hopefully spread up those lines, and then they'll hang fruit down like you can see one hanging there, right? I guess they're not fruit, but hang down their gourds like that there, and it will give some shade to our chickens who are in the middle of remodeling. I'm giving them a new house. So this is the garden and my watering system as it stands currently.